And that's why they started this show with a 20-minute girls match. Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. What'd you think, Brian?
I was conflicted because I really like Dakota Kai and I'm not really that into Ember Moon, so there was a bit of fast forwarding involved. But I started watching by the end of the match and I thought it was all right. That's the best I could say. I'm surprised.
Well, it's all right. It's all right. Have a good show, 'cause it's all right. But it's all right ain't good enough.
Well, the role of Curtis Mayfield will be played by Jim Cornette, and the impression I got of this match...
Very good.
...was I was very surprised that Dakota Kai went over. I thought because they just brought Ember Moon back, they'd given her promo time recently, I was like, oh no, they're going to squash Dakota Kai. They didn't. And I was very happy about that.
Well, I'm glad that they spent the first 20 minutes of their national television program to make you happy.
It was a bit long.
I wasn't real tickled myself. But then, after that match, Cameron Grimes did an interview. We have... Hear what I'm doing? Ow.
Are you slapping yourself?
I'm slapping myself on the wrist.
Not your thigh.
Bad Jim. Bad Jim. No, that would sound much louder. Bad Jim. A wrist slapping I just gave myself because I've said good shit about Cameron Grimes because what a personality he is. And he can work and he looks different and he's an old-fashioned wrestling heel. But now they've got him scared of zombies. And as he's doing the interview, he's acting scared and nervous and he's jumpy. And then a referee in a referee's outfit that works for NXT came up behind him and put his hand on his back, and Cameron Grimes turned around and sees him and jumps in a very phony way and not credible or realistic whatsoever, ran off screaming scared. Now they're killing this guy for me. Did you see that?
I did. Obviously, we didn't watch Halloween Havoc. I have it on my DVR. It is still there. I haven't deleted it yet. I also haven't watched it.
I put in the zombie rule, and apparently one of the zombies was in his match because now he's scared of zombies. This is the story that the announcers are telling us about a grown adult man. He's scared of zombies. Not scared. I can understand scared of snakes. I can understand scared of being in a coffin. Matter of fact, when we tried to do the Leviathan video, Batista didn't want to get in the coffin and lay down because he was actually physically. A guy that looked like that was scared of a coffin. I can understand that. But scared of zombies, I'm having trouble with.
You know, it's funny. John Fell just posted something the other day of how to protect yourself from zombies. I don't think he created it. He just took someone else's thing and reposted it.
He's that way. He's a noted plagiarist.
And it was a house surrounded by treadmills. So as they walk up, it would just shoot them backwards.
Well, Cameron Grimes, now you know all you have to do is surround your house with treadmills. And the next match on the program was Cameron Grimes against Kushida. And the first line I wrote is, fuck, I have to watch Kushida because I like to watch Cameron Grimes. Every time I see Kushida, well, if you can't see Bass in the morning, you can't see Bass at all. Every time I see Kushida, I think it's one of the ring crew guys working out before the matches. Because he's a good athlete and he's a good worker, but he's so small and he's wearing blue jeans and fucking tennis shoes. And it just looks odd in this. Now they've got the Thunderdome virtual fans in the Capitol Wrestling Center and all the lights and all this high budget production. And here's a guy who looks like he just finished changing his tire on the side of the road. I like Grimes as a worker, both athletically and mentally. He gets professional wrestling. You can tell, and you can tell he's a fan. And they were working hard and serious in this match. Even if I think Kushida has drawbacks, they were working very hard, very seriously. Their shit looked good. And the announcers were fucking going on about Cameron Grimes being scared of zombies. Anyway, here was the finish. As I said, they worked serious and had a nice match, made some contact. And then Kushida gives Cameron Grimes a flying double wrist lock off the top rope, just like Luthez used to do. That was Thez's go-to hold if somebody tried a double cross, just not off the top rope, double wrist lock. But he didn't go for a cover. Then he went to do some more shit, and they bumped the referee to the floor. Then Kushida gets his fucking wrist lock, and Cameron Grimes taps out, but there's no referee. Okay, I'm with him so far. Then they fucking do something else. Grimes hits that cross body where he fucking goes all the way over it's a fucking flip. I don't know how he does it. It looks nice. He gets a cover. Second referee comes out. Cameron Grimes, the same referee, Cameron Grimes thinks he's a zombie, jumps up, shock-faced, running, backing up from the referee in the ring, and gets caught in Kushida's wrist lock and taps out. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? They couldn't do anything else after they'd got that far, but he thought the referee had no zombie makeup. The referee didn't have any blood dripping from his face, no brains coming out of his fucking mouth. He didn't have his clothes weren't torn. He didn't just recently dig himself out of a grave. It was a referee dressed in a referee's outfit. But because of Halloween Havoc, Cameron Grimes thought he was a zombie. Is this what I saw?
I think so.
Do you have anything to say about it?
I got nothing else to add. I really like Cameron Grimes. It's weird that this match, more than anything else we've seen recently, made me think of you talking about how small Kushida is. Because I'm usually the one to defend him. But in this match, for whatever reason, against Cameron Grimes, it really stood out how small he is. And I have nothing else to add.
Hey, man, let's all get small.
I hate the fact that it takes someone like Cameron Grimes, who I think has a world of potential because he obviously has natural charisma.
Aptitude.
Yeah, well, he's good in the ring, but he has charisma. He could probably cut a even better promo if it wasn't crap given to him. And now they have him being childish. They have him afraid of zombies because of Dexter Lumis. Everything Lumis touches turns to a zombie.
So we were 45 minutes in this 2-hour show. We'd had 2 matches, a 20-minute girls match and a good men's match that ended when the heel ran from a referee that he thought was a zombie. Now we have the reluctant tag team of Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. And they, again, for what seems to be more times than Bobo Brazil faced the Sheik, were booked with Everrise. Everrise doesn't quit rising either, do they? They're on a show every week. I know you have a reluctant tag team partner rule.
No, it's specific to these two.
Specific to these two, because it's been so hokey and goofy. I will just briefly tell you that basically the match was Killian Dane did tag moves with Drake Maverick based on throwing Drake Maverick like a sack of shit into the opponents for the first 45 seconds, and then they took over and beat Maverick up. And then, I'll get you to the point where you stop fast forwarding. And then Pat McAfee and his crew show up. Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne looks like he's using Donald Trump's fucking tanning bed. And they show up in the car outside the parking lot. They come in the building and they jump in the ring and they get really sloppy heat on the baby faces, except for Pete Dunne. He threw some nice shots, but the other guys got heat on the baby faces like they'd never gotten heat on baby faces before. Maybe they don't teach that at the Performance Center. Southern wrestlers were masters at it. But McAfee's running the camera while the heels beat the shit out. And then they hit Killian Dane with some kind of botched triple team move that looked like the two guys that had him up. One was going for one thing, one was going for the other thing. And the guy that had his fucking feet just kind of went down with it. He landed on his rectum. Rectum almost killed him. And then they went to the break. And when they come back, Pat McAfee and the heels were in the ring. And this was almost an hour in, was the highlight of the show so far. They promoted the Undisputed Era and fucking McAfee. This was a great wrestling promo. He was calling the fans stupid and ugly. He was knocking the fucking guys he was mad at. Since MJF lost his mind and left for musical comedy, McAfee may be the best fucking heel in the business. And he's only had one match. Then they were going to raise Undisputed Era's banner to the rafters, like retired their jersey and put them in the archives. And then the thing lowers and McAfee says, here's the banner and the rafter thing. He's fucking great. He's got personality and he knows what a heel wrestler sounds like. And then they voted on whether they should raise the banner or not. And they decided instead to throw it in the trash can. And shades of Dirty White Boy burning the Confederate flag in Smoky Mountain. They throw it in the trash can, squirt it with the lighter fluid, and set the fucking banner on fire. And then McAfee insulted the fans some more. They left, walked out the side door. Killian Dane attacks McAfee, and then the heels kick the shit out of him again, slam his fucking head in the door. And Pete Dunne kicked the fucking door into fucking Killian Dane's face, and McAfee's like, hey, a little aggressive there, but we'll talk about it later. He's funny without being goofy funny, on purpose funny, and winking at the camera like I'm playing with all this funny. He's funny like a fucking heel. If he's going to be on this show, I have a lot more enthusiasm to watch it, because it needs a lot. It needs something, and he's a lot of the something. What'd you think?
I think he's great. I mean, I thought it before. I was upset when I thought he may be going away after the Adam Cole match. He's fantastic as a heel. He's great on the mic. The only thing I didn't like is, and it was a minor thing, I don't like him using inside terms while doing his promo. I think he said, you'll be over. And there was another thing he said. I was just like, oh, why? You don't need to say that. Maybe he doesn't know better.
I'm the same. Well, I'm the same way. You slip though. And when he's speaking extemporaneously, but I'm the same way. I don't like him to use the word kayfabe. I don't like, over. I think everybody kind of gets what over is now, right? As just a reference that people, in the context that they use it in, you would kind of get it without it being real inside wrestling.
You may be right. And
but I take your point that the guys do need to watch when they talk too inside, because then they're limiting their audience to like the internet audience. And also it just doesn't, it makes them sound markish, but anyway.
And then we'll see how this heel faction goes. It's an interesting group. You said they don't know how to get heat. I think they said that collectively they've been in the business for 30 years.
Well, but no, see, here's the thing. These guys, especially the guys that are from England, they're used to the modern style. And they haven't been doing television for 10 years each. And they haven't been doing angles for 10 years each. They've been booked in independent shows where they are booked to go and have great matches. They have been in developmental where they get a lot of training and how to have great matches and do moves and be safe or whatever. But you don't fucking get experience on how to do angles and get in and kick the shit out of people and get heat with a sense of urgency and sound and motion and know how to get in and look confident doing it, instead of just throwing the kind of haphazard little slappy punches things and flailing feet around. But that's experience, and also a very specialized kind of training. We used to do it in OVW because heels need to know how to go in and get fucking heat. I'm not talking about get the people mad. This is the act of getting heat on the babyface, kicking the shit out of them in an urgent and violent and fucking believable way with emotion and passion. That's what I'm talking about, getting heat on the babyface. And they just went in there and it was just sloppy. Because I guarantee you, of all the things they've done in wrestling, this is probably the thing they've done the least. So, anyway.
And then Pete Dunne, I like the fact that he was being serious. I've had a difficult time getting into Pete Dunne. I'm going to say this, and let's see if this gets stuck in your head like it is mine. But
okay.
Every time I see him, to me, he looks like Becky Lynch with pubic hair glued to her face.
Oh, my God.
And that's all I see whenever I see him.
Well, fuck, now you've killed him for me.
But we'll see where they go. Pat McAfee, though, back up the Brinks truck. He's fantastic.
I have a feeling they already have there. We had a video of Mr. Sameface in his house talking to the guy in the horror mask from Scream. So I fast forwarded.
Did you see the video package that he beat Damian Priest for the North American title?
Oh, I did see that because Priest got knocked off the fucking stage through a house or something. Yeah, thanks for coming, Damian. You just got beat by a midget. Great booking on the part of NXT there. But anyway, Toni Storm. We love her. She looks fabulous. Big fan. Now that she's back. Praised the match she had last week. Matched up with Shotzi Blackheart. There's a Shotzi rule. God damn it. I started to be conflicted. What do I do? Do I watch it for Toni or fast forward for Shotzi? But then I saw that Shotzi didn't come out in her tank. She ran to the ring because she was pissed off and she wanted to get in there with Toni Storm. So I said, I'll watch this because there's no tank. That's a big part of the whole reason why I don't want to see Shotzi. And I knew you'd be proud of me. 20 seconds into the fucking match, Shotzi Blackheart climbs up the ropes to jump off on Toni Storm, slips off, flips into the ring, and lands on her ass. I then invoked the Shotzi rule. That's enough. Fast forwarded through a break. Come back from the break on the other side after what seemed like forever on fast forward. All of a sudden, on the screen, Mrs. Sameface shows up, and the match comes to a halt. Toni Storm's out on the floor. Shotzi's standing in the ring. Everything comes to a halt while Shotzi watches Candace Sameface talk to her on the screen. Mrs. Sameface is standing next to Shotzi's tank by the side of the road. And while she's shocked and Mrs. Sameface is saying, I'm going to take care of it. It was just here. I'm going to make sure nothing happens to it. Toni Storm rolls Shotzi up and pins her. But then Toni Storm stays in the ring and watches while Mrs. Sameface gets back on the screen. And then a monster truck pulls up. And Mrs. Sameface gets in the monster truck and runs over the toy tank that Shotzi does her entrances in. But they weren't smart enough to actually take the monster truck and run one of the tires over the tank. Thus, instead, they just ran the monster truck toward the tank and it got stuck under the front and they just drove down the street with it until finally it broke up on it. Wouldn't it have been more picturesque, Brian, if you saw that big tire just smash the shit out of that little tank?
I would think.
We should have got Medusa in to drive the monster truck for him. But anyway, so Toni, who just took advantage of this girl being distracted by a heel with her property to roll her up and pin her, stayed in the ring and watched this, and now feels bad for Shotzi and goes over to comfort her. So my Shotzi rule is now back in effect no matter what the opponent, because it was a Trojan horse. I was fed this with a spoonful of sugar, and it didn't make it go down any easier. What'd you think?
I executed the Shotzi rule at the very beginning, and then I stopped fast forwarding when I realized something was happening. I figured there may be an angle. I may have to talk about this. And then Shotzi's breakdown because of her Tonka tank being run over, and then Toni Storm consoling her because this grown woman's tank.
Oh, it was a mental breakdown. She was screaming at the top of her lungs, tearing her hair out of her head, and almost dislocated her jaw with her mouth open, going, ah!
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. My Shotzi rule stays in effect.
The Tonka tank. A brief video followed where, do they just keep the camera in the parking lot to see all these guys driving up? And why is it that they all drive up in the middle of the program? And also at this point, it was past 9 o'clock in the Eastern time zone and they're in Florida, but yet it was fucking broad daylight. But Pablo Escobar and it's not Pablo, it's Santo. Pablo was his uncle. He had a different business. Santo Escobar and the Lucha Suits are in the parking lot walking into the building, and they're on camera, and they start to say something, and suddenly Jake Atlas drives up, comes out with a baseball bat, hits Escobar, jumps back in the fucking truck and drove off. It looked like me on Magnolia Avenue after Terry Landell in Knoxville. And that was it. So, once again, thankfully, just the 45 seconds that these guys were on camera all night was the exact moment that Jake Atlas was going to commit assault and battery and aggravated mayhem on camera on national television. Lucky how that turned out. The Thatch is Thatch Can segment. I love these, but can you read my mind and tell me what I'm going to say was the matter with it?
I don't know. It could be during the segment or the run-in at the end of the segment.
Well, why the fuck? The Thatch is Thatch Can is great because Timothy Thatcher is that fucking dog-faced fucker with gap tooth that has that fucking head and that face, and he likes to punish people, and he is an accomplished mat wrestler and grappler and knows the hooks and the shoot holes and all this stuff, and that's great as a showcase to get this guy over to do this shit to top talent. But every time they do one, he proves that he's an asshole and he knows all this shit, and then the fucking student turns around and either kicks the shit out of him or gets something over on him. Or the reason why we criticized it last time was because the guy came back at the unknown one-named fucking student, not even job guy, comes back and fucking gets him and shit, and he starts backing up Thatcher. Well, this time, they didn't get a guy that was any better of an actor because he overacts the build-up where Thatcher won't break quickly enough and is roughing him up. And you can see through that because they can't fucking find somebody that can act. But also, when he fucking mistreated this one guy, the last guy, Austin Gray, some fucking unknown fuck, previous student and tackling dummy, hit the ring and kicked the shit out of fucking Thatcher and blew off all the heat that he got in the segment. Why does this always backfire on television for Thatcher? If they did it enough where it didn't backfire before we started watching, although we've been watching for months, and now they do it because they did it too long without it backfiring, then just stop doing it. It should never backfire unless the guy that comes out and takes the place of the tackling dummy, the training partner, is a main event fucking talent. And then that's your angle. But you can't do that angle now because all the fucking training partners have fucking come back on Thatcher already. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I like the segments. And then the guy from last week we both thought looked like crap, all of a sudden now he's going to be feuding with Thatcher. I don't know about this.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be feuding with Thatcher or if they just ran him out there just to fucking blow all the heat off. Anyway, the main event of the evening. And I'm going to surprise you when I say some things here. Tommaso Ciampa versus the Velveteen Dream. I first will ask if we have got, besides just the fact that he's just switched heel, is there a reason why Velveteen Dream now dresses like a cat burglar?
I don't know what the hell's going on with this guy.
Black shoes, black pants, black shirt, black glove. I don't know if he had gloves except for the cast. He's got a purple cast and then a black do-rag on. He looks like he's fucking sneaking out of a prison camp in the middle of the night. But Tommaso Ciampa kicked the shit out of the Velveteen Dream, and I love watching Tommaso work. It's exciting. It's different. His shit looks good. It makes sense. It's different. He means business. The Velveteen Dreams, I get a kick out of his initials being VD. I don't know why. The awkward overselling that he's doing remains distracting. He's not overselling like a heel, like a Austin Theory would be. He's overselling like a, I really want to impress somebody. I need to keep a job, and it's going too far. But Ciampa stayed all over him for the most part. The pace was fast. We had some action. At least it looked like two grown men. Ciampa made Dreams Cast the focal point. The comeback fire that Ciampa had was fucking awesome when he just kept clotheslining him until he couldn't get up anymore. The top rope superplex, nice close false finish. They did that vertical suplex over the top spot, and actually it was a nice spot, and they did it fairly safely. And it was a nice touch. I haven't seen that one in a while. Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid, I think, is the first two people I ever saw do that spot. And then they did a nice little finishing sequence that was done very well, and everybody was in the right place, and Ciampa hit his finish, 1, 2, 3, boom. This was the best match of the night on either program, which possibly indicts both programs, but it was. What'd you think?
It was all right. I must admit, I didn't pay very, very close attention because I really don't like Velveteen Dream very much.
I knew you wouldn't, and that's why I knew what I said would surprise you.
I don't know where they're going with Ciampa now. I hope they don't do him and Gargano again. But I don't know where they're going with him. Hopefully they're getting away from the Velveteen Dream in him, because he's just kicked his ass over and over again. I don't know. I other than the Pat McAfee segment, I hated this show.
Well, it wasn't good.
There was nothing that stopped me from fast forwarding.
But as a wrestling match, out of both shows, that was the best one, which tells you something.